stars. You know, I want to see what Finn Balor's going to do. You know, I'm hoping that that's going to be something new and interesting. They've got a few new feuds to run with that, and I'm hoping like by then, like there'll be a huge match in potential. Like I've got a feeling something around the New Day is going to transpire here because this whole thing's gone on way too long with this title reign now. And I'm not knocking them for that. I think that's an incredible feat, but you know, you're feeling like something big has to be around the corner with that as well.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm with you. I feel like WrestleMania, they have to do big things. With regards to Braun Strowman and Big Show, you know, I've seen it so many times where the big guy fights the other big guy, and it's not always pretty to watch. That's the one thing I will say. And I suppose at this point, Matt, you'd have to put Braun over for it to make any kind of sense. But I guarantee you Braun Strowman will be involved in like the Andre the Giant Memorial or something. You know, that's what they'll have him doing. I don't know.
But yeah, like, when it comes to the Big Show, there's not really much question. I mean, how many times did we saw Roman absolutely squash the Big Show on his like uprise to the top, didn't we? He went through him about 4 or 5 times. Yeah, totally agree with that.
Okay, now got a long question here, Matt, so get ready for this. This is from Melanie. Hi, I listen to your show as much as I can. I'm a mother of 2 very enthusiastic sons who live and breathe WWE. I only started listening because they listen to your show. However, I have to tell them to listen on a Tuesday, as Monday's live show is a school night. With Christmas fast approaching, I wonder if you could both help me. They are both fans of John Cena. Their ages are 7 and 9, and I have told them Father Christmas needs to know where to get these presents from. Is it better getting them both WWE DVDs or the WWE Network for Father Christmas, as we now have a Roku set up in their bedrooms? Thanks. So we do have quite a lot of a young audience after all. Thank you, Melanie, for your email. And Matt, I'm sure we're both. Well, I think we're both probably in agreement. I think that you'd probably be wisest to subscribe to the network. You'll save yourself a lot of money, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, I used to love my WWE DVDs. You know, they were good when their time was there. But you can't argue that for $9.99 you can watch anything that's on DVD. You know, you just got to search for it and it's there. It's like the YouTube of wrestling. Yeah,
I would totally agree with Matt. Also, you get all the pay-per-views are all included in the network, and it is it's kids friendly. You can actually have parental control on it and stuff like that. So that you're going to be you'll know what they're watching is totally fine. There's loads of original programming on it, and of course the archive, the library that they have is just huge. And I'm pretty sure they'll get lost in that. So yes, I say give Father Christmas the nod to go towards WWE Network subscription. That would be my, especially if you've got a Roku in their rooms, be perfect. Because DVDs, they're not cheap, and Blu-rays and all the rest of it. And quite frankly, you'd probably spend more than a 1 month subscription. So even if you got 1 month subscription, in fact, you can get that for free. In fact, 3 months free. So yeah, it's a good time to get it, Father Christmas. So yeah, go for that one. Thank you for your question, Melanie. Okay, now we have another interesting name. I swear people are getting more inventive with their names here, Matt. Radical Mike emails in. And Radical Mike says, seeing the finish to Goldberg versus Brock match made me think back to when I saw Honky Tonk lose fast to the Warrior at SummerSlam. However, do you know if it was meant to originally be Honky versus Beefcake that night, as he got injured and Honky Tonk Man ended up having to face the Warrior? Do you know in real life if the Honky Tonk Man was mad at the way the finish happened, and was he in agreement to it because he held the IC title for 15 months? So Matt, I'm sure that's actually a good, actually completely forgot about that, but that is a good sort of thing to draw back to when you think about what we've just seen at Survivor Series. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can remember that moment at SummerSlam, Matt, with the Honky Tonk Man, at the time the 15-month
that historic reign.
yeah, and then of course Warrior came out, done what he does best, and that was the end of that. I can tell you, Radical Mike, I've actually sat through a whole shoot interview. It's on YouTube, in fact, listening to the Honky Tonk Man, who's quite entertaining at times.
They're brutal.
And he said in it that the whole thing with Beefcake, that was all set up. Like, Beefcake was never ever meant to face the Honky Tonk Man, and the reason back then they just did a good job at protecting everything, and actually it was the Honky Tonk Man's idea, according to him, to have the Warrior beat him that fast and that clean, because he said that would get such a massive reaction, which it did get a huge reaction, by the way. I mean, it really did set Warrior on the right road into, you know, his match with Hogan, you know, the year after, and so yes, he wasn't mad at all. Let's put it that way. He was happy to do it, and I believe he got a nice payoff out of it for a very short piece of work. Matt, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. Did you enjoy when you saw the Warrior coming out? Was that a moment when you look back on it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I said, like it's the moment it all ended for Honky Tonk Man, wasn't it? So it was a long time coming.
Yeah. Okay. Here's another regular emailer, and he hasn't got much to say this week. Stay lucky. Is it true Steve Corino is finishing up with Ring of Honor to go to WWE? Yes, I can officially say that is true now, because I've seen pictures of him, and he's going to be working at the development center, as far as I'm aware, as a coach to begin with, at least. Don't know if you've heard anything different to that, Matt.
No, pretty much the same as you.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting because we only saw him last week or the week before, whatever it was. We were there in London, so it's that's come about very fast, hasn't it? Really.
Yeah. Well, sometimes these things do. I guess if you get the phone call, you can't really say no, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, if he does end up on the announcing team, which I think they probably will give him a run, at least on NXT, at least. It's not bad to have him doing that either. So, yeah, interesting to see how WWE work him in, because it's not like Corino ever had like a massive career in WWE, did he? He was very, you know, here and there with him. I mean, he had no run at all, did he? So, be interesting to see if WWE use him. Okay, now we have a question from Mark. What do you think about WWE Network reaching out to sitcoms and other non-wrestling programs to enhance their streaming service? I kind of feel the network is just great for wrestling, but the original programming has been stop-start a lot. They could try and get something like a TV series on board. Your thoughts? That's a very interesting thought, and I'm surprised actually that WWE hasn't tried to do that. But then again, they are wrestling. I mean, I don't. Where's the cut-off point? You know, to all that. They do like to keep everything WWE in-house friendly, don't they? So if there are any TV shows, it probably have to have their own wrestlers in it or something, wouldn't it, Matt?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a money thing as well. Like, when you think of the shows that they do have, like Total Divas, Total Bellas, they go straight onto that E-network because it's generating a lot more money for them, and then they put it on the network afterwards. So I'm sure they could do stuff like this, but it would go straight onto a TV show rather than on the network, probably. Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, I get what you're saying, because it would probably bring in other different people that are non-wrestling fans, but then, you know, like, if you're not a wrestling fan, even if there's like a show that you can't get anywhere else, like, it'd have to be a bloody good show, wouldn't it, Matt, for someone to buy a wrestling streaming service just to watch a program, and then maybe they're enticed just to watch a pay-per-view now and then. I mean, I get what he's saying, I get the idea of it, but I couldn't imagine that that's something that's very feasible at the moment for WWE. Like, they're not gonna be able to have original programming like Netflix do, or stuff like that, or Amazon Prime, surely.
No, I wouldn't be holding out for it. I mean, the stuff that they do put on is of a decent quality, but I must admit that sometimes I'm a little disappointed about like the periods in between when they release new content. Like Table for Free seems to stop, and then they do a bit of the road trip stuff, and then now they've got this new WWE stories, but the gaps in between do seem quite long. So I think when you get the WWE Network, you're just getting it for the wrestling, I guess. So that's the main selling point, I assume.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Matt said there. I think, but like you say, Mark, he has been stop-start. I do get why you think they should do that, and maybe they should stop investing in some of that stuff. I mean, they've brought guys in from the guy from Jackass. They've done Jerry Springer's been there. I mean, some of it's been a right load of nonsense, really. But then again, it is what it is. I still think it's great value. I can't knock it. I still think it's good value, for sure. But to go the extra mile, they probably have to up the price somewhat, and then that's going to get complicated as well when you start doing that. Because if you get one of these big TV series, it's not easy, and it is bloody expensive, because then you've got to get it from the original owners, which could be one of these giant network corporations, and the whole thing, rights and everything else, and then who gets a percentage of the money. I mean, it's an absolute. It could get messy, and then you wonder: is there any point? Is there any profit to any of that stuff? So, yeah, it's definitely an idea, but not one that's going to come around soon. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's take the last few now. This is from Young Towser. Apparently, here we go. I would really like to see Kurt Angle back in WWE. Angle versus Cena. What am I talking about? Angle versus Cena at Mania. Also, what about HBK versus AJ Styles at Mania? Young Towser, the thing is with both those things, I'm thinking to myself, I don't want any more guys coming back. I don't want to be living in the 90s. Like, everything that everyone's suggesting here is guys coming back. I mean, honestly, this is something, a judge of where we're at, Matt. Everybody wants everybody to come back. I know it's exciting, but surely for the sake of the business, for the industry, it's not. We should be looking at what's currently in front of us, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that. You can say, AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels. But then I'd say, well, wait a minute. How about AJ Styles versus Jay Lethal? Then that's something else to get talking about. Let's look to the future, maybe.
Yeah. The thing with Kurt Angle, I don't see him back in a WWE ring just because of the problems he had. But I do see him. I think he'll be involved with WWE again, because I know he's reached out a few times to Triple H, and Triple H has. When Kurt Angle was on a podcast of Jim Ross's, he'd said that now just wasn't the right time, but later would be, and there was hints and mentions of Hall of Fame. So they are going to have him back, Matt. There's no way Kurt Angle's not going to be involved somewhere, but he can do other things. He's not just he's an amazing wrestler, but I don't think they have to literally have him wrestling. And even if he does wrestle, I think it will be like a 1 or 2 matches. But again, it's not something I want to see now. Please, let's stop bringing in like a whole of WrestleMania next year the way everyone wants it. It'll be everybody coming back from the 90s, won't it, at this rate? I mean, honestly. With the idea of yeah. Same with HBK and AJ Styles. I mean, there was hints of Royal Rumble. But again, we've already got Goldberg heading there, and Lesnar's also scheduled to be there. So again, Triple H, where's he coming back? Undertaker, we've got enough of those guys already. So I think the enhancements are there already in place, so we don't have to go overboard on it. But again, dream matches, Angle versus Cena, of course it is, and same with AJ and HBK. Okay, next question, Ricky. I heard a rumour that WWE are preparing for an Elimination Chamber Intercontinental title match for WrestleMania instead of using a ladder in the Intercontinental match. I have zero knowledge of this, Matt, but if they did I don't know if you've heard anything first and foremost.
Well, as far as I know, the elimination